Why, hello there. I am Vox, and welcome to the next real-life horror story to make your skin crawl. The subject of this story is the strange disappearance of the Sodder children. Let's get to it. It was the most wonderful time of the year, yet George and Jenny Sodder would have the worst day of their lives. Tragedy struck Fayetteville, West Virginia on the night before Christmas 1945, when a fire consumed the Sodder house and killed 5 of the 9 children within. Or did it? According to the Smithsonian, the fire broke out at around 1 a.m. George and Jenny escaped with 4 children, and when George tried to go back inside for the remaining 5, he encountered failure after failure. His ladder was missing, and neither of his 2 cars would start. Firefighters didn't arrive until 8 a.m., at which point the Sodder home was a pile of charred rubble. They figured it was an electrical fire, though the coroner's office issued 5 death certificates, attributed to fire or suffocation. Not a single bone or piece of flesh was found. Unconvinced that Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty perished in the blaze, their parents put up a billboard along Route 16 to enlist any help they could get. A crematorium employee confirmed to Miss Sodder that bones stick around where bodies are burned for 2 hours at 2,000 degrees. Their fire had only lasted about 45 minutes. Things only got weirder when the Sodders remembered the strangers that appeared at their home a few months earlier and an odd phone call the night of the fire. A man has appeared in the autumn looking for work. He pointed at the fuse boxes in the back and said, "This is going to cause a fire someday." Another man showed up not too long after, trying to sell the Sodders life insurance, which they declined. "Your goddamn house is going up in smoke," he warned them, "and your children are going to be destroyed. You are going to be paid for the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini." George Sodder did voice his opposition to the Italian dictator at local meetings, but didn't take the man's statement as a serious threat. Minutes before the fire erupted, a phone call from a female stranger asked to speak with an unfamiliar person. Jenny could hear laughter and glasses clinking in the background. "You have the wrong number," she said, and hung up. So, where were the missing Sodder children? The first reported sighting came from a woman who said she served them breakfast at a tourist stop 50 miles west. Another claim said she'd seen 4 of the 5 kids at a Charleston hotel. The Sodders reached out to the FBI, but J. Edgar Hoover turned them down. Then they hired a private investigator, C.C. Tinsley, who found out the insurance salesman from the fall before the fire was a member of the coroner's jury that labeled the fire an accident of faulty electrical wiring. The family then scoured the grounds where their house was and found a few vertebrae, which they sent to the Smithsonian Institution for analysis. Pathologists determined the bones all belonged to the same person, but had not been exposed to the fire. The Sodder family's reward for information was doubled to $10,000. This prompted a renewal flurry of calls and claims that people had seen the missing children to no avail. 20 years passed before Jenny received a promising clue. A letter from Kentucky with no return address, with a photo inside and a cryptic note. "Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie. In ill sick boys A901 32 or 35. The photo was of a man in his mid-20s who resembled their 9-year-old son Louis, all grown up. When they sent a detective to Kentucky to investigate, he disappeared. The Sodders added the photo to the billboard, but never found their missing children. "Time is running out for us," said George Sodder in an interview, "but we only want to know. If they did die in the fire, we want to be convinced. Otherwise, we want to know what happened to them." George died a year later in 1968, and Jenny died in 1989. Their last surviving daughter Sylvia remains unconvinced her siblings perished in the fire.